Hello students, today's topic is the first we will study comparison of MOSFET with BJT. Already I told you in the previous classes what are the basic differences between the MOSFET and BJT. That is, the BJT has the 3 terminals collector, base, emitter, whereas MOSFET has 3 terminals drain, gate, source. And BJT is a bipolar device. At the same time, MOSFET is a unipolar device. BJT is a current control device because its control signal is base current. MOSFET is a voltage control device because its control signal is gate voltage. Okay, and then BJT, and these are the some more differences between power MOSFET and power BJT, which I explain you here. Okay, so see, we already discussed that the power MOSFET has lower switching losses and power BJT has higher switching losses, but power MOSFET has more on-state resistance. That's why its conduction losses are more, whereas power BJT has lower conduction losses. Okay, that's why due to its lower switching losses, mainly these semiconductor devices are used for switching purpose. That's why power MOSFET has the lower switching losses. That's why its application, its maximum application is for high frequency applications. Okay. Whereas power BJT has lower operating frequency application. This frequency range is less than 10 to 30 kilohertz. So see here, the switching loss is higher. That's why this semiconductor device, this power BJT, is used for lower operating frequency applications. Okay. Now the power MOSFET is a voltage control device, whereas BJT is a current control device. And the power MOSFET has positive temperature coefficient for resistance. Power MOSFET has positive temperature coefficient for resistance means what? See, all these devices are means number of units are connected and form one circuit. Okay, so in one circuit there is number of power BJTs are used, number of MOSFETs are used, so that there is either series combination of the number of MOSFETs or either parallel combination of number of MOSFETs. Similarly, in a circuit there is series combination of number of BJTs or parallel combination of number of BJTs. So that parallel combination of MOSFET or that series combination of MOSFET or BJT makes one unit, which is used in a power circuit. Okay, so positive temperature coefficient for resistance means if any MOSFET shares a increased current. Okay, so if there is a increased current occurred initially at MOSFET, then what happens? If current increases from the starting, then the heat is also increases, but that means it will heat up faster. If current increases, that means there is formation of heat, so it will heat up faster. So if heat increases, that means its temperature also rises, so that its resistance rises. So see, resistance rises means positive temperature coefficient for resistance. So if current initially there is a higher current, then there is the increase of the there is formation of the heating, then there is the increasing of the temperature, and then there is rise of resistance. So once there is rise in resistance, this increased resistance causes this current, that initial high current, to shift to the other parallel device. Okay, so that's why your MOSFET will be in safe mode. But in BJT it has negative temperature coefficient. That means here, with the increase in the current, there is no rise in resistance. That's why here we have to use external current sharing resistors. Okay, during the operation of this BJT. Okay, and then due to this this property, negative temperature coefficient for resistance, in BJT there is secondary breakdown occurs. Okay, but this secondary breakdown does not occur in MOSFET. So MOSFET is free from secondary breakdown, whereas BJT has secondary breakdown region. Okay, so the power MOSFET, so due to this, these are the rating of the power MOSFET. Here the voltage rating is of for rating up to 500 volt and current is 140 ampere, whereas the available ratings for BJT is voltage rating up to 1200 volt and current is up to 800 ampere. So already I told you whatever differences in the previous classes and whatever differences I mentioned here today, you combine all those differences and make total differences between power MOSFET and BJT in your notebook. Okay, write down the whatever the all differences between power MOSFET and power BJT, because it is an important question, important long question for your examination. Okay, so the next part is insulated gate bipolar transistor, that is IGBT. Okay, so what do you mean by IGBT, where it comes from? Okay, IGBT is a new development which is the combination of the good point of the power MOSFET and BJT. Okay, so this device combines with the advantages of this divine combines into the advantages of both MOSFET and BJT. By taking the advantages of both MOSFET and BJT and combining all these advantages from MOSFET and BJT, the device IGBT is developed. Okay, so what are the advantages points taken from MOSFET and BJT? See, IGBT has high input impedance, which is same as the power MOSFET. IGBT has low on-state power loss, which is same as in BJT. Okay, in BJT there is low conduction losses. Okay, but in MOSFET there is higher conduction losses or more conduction losses. So IGBT has high input impedance, same as like MOSFET. IGBT has low on-state power loss, same as like BJT. IGBT is free from secondary breakdown problem, which is same as in MOSFET. MOSFET there is no secondary breakdown problem, but in BJT there is secondary breakdown problem. So IGBT is free from secondary breakdown problem. Okay, and IGBT also known as, it has several names, like it also known as metal oxide insulated gate transistor. It is also named as metal oxide insulated gate transistor, that is termed as MOS-IGT, metal oxide insulated gate transistor. It also named as COMFET. COMFET means conductively modulated field effect transistor. Again, it also known as gain modulated FET. That's also named as gain modulated FET. Gain modulated FET, and it also known as called as insulated gate transistor, IGT. So these are the different names used for IGBT, that is MOS-IGT, MOS-IGT, metal oxide insulated gate transistor. COMFET means conductively modulated field effect transistor. Then GEMFET means gain modulated field effect transistor. IGT means insulated gate transistor. Okay, so this is the origin of IGBT. So this next come to the basic structure and working of IGBT. See, this is the basic structure of IGBT. This is the basic structure of IGBT. Okay. So in basic structure of IGBT, what you see, this is virtually same as the power MOSFET. Okay, the power MOSFET, high power MOSFET structure and the IGBT structure is virtually same, but the major difference is, what is the major difference? The major difference is the substrate. Here the substrate used is the P substrate, but in case of MOSFET, the substrate is the N plus substrate. Okay, N plus substrate, where the drain terminal is connected, but here the N plus substrate is substituted by P plus substrate. Okay, and the terminal from this P plus substrate is called as collector. C for collector. Okay, uh, and it has another terminals that is known as gate and emitter. So this is the basic symbol used for IGBT, whereas this C, G, E for C stands for collector, G stands for gate, E stands for emitter. Okay, so see here, this is collector, here is also P plus substrate is there, then one side there is one metallic layer deposited or embedded. From this metallic layer, collector terminal is taken out, then over the P plus substrate, N minus layer is epitaxially grown. Okay, then over the N minus layer, P layer is fetched, here also P layer fetched, over P layer N plus layers are fetched, again here also over P layer N plus layers are fetched, and over this, what you see over this, Si silicon dioxide insulating layer is given. Okay, and here also metal deposited through metal is embedded, here also metallic layer embedded. From this metallic embedded structure, one terminal is taken out, here also one terminal taken out. This is known as emitter. This metallic structure or this emitter connected to this N plus layer and P layer. Here also this emitter connected directly through this metal layer to N plus layer and P layer, and over this SiO2 insulating layer and its upper part, upper surface, there is again metallic layer deposited, and from this gate terminal is taken out. Okay, understood the structural details of the IGBT? What is the difference between the difference in the structure of MOSFET and BJT? Okay, so IGBT has also thousands of basic structure cells connected on a single chip of silicon. Okay, means on a single chip of silicon there is thousands of these basic structure cells are connected, and which form one IGBT device. Okay, so how it works? See, when this here also control signal is there, here the control signal is this gate emitter voltage, this is gate voltage. Okay, so when this gate is positive with respect to emitter, what happens? See, before we apply this gate voltage, what, when this gate voltage this part is open, that means VCC is there, so this is the plus, this is minus, and through this structure there is junction J1, junction J2, PN junction. Okay, this is also one junction. Okay, so what happens when this voltage plus terminal is connected to collector and minus terminal is connected to these emitters? So plus means this P plus and minus J1 junction forward biased, and minus connected to emitter means N plus P is forward biased, but this J2 junction is, this junction is reverse biased. Okay, so due to this reverse bias junctions, it prevent flow of current from collector to emitter. Okay, collector to emitter flow of current, which is blocked by this reverse bias junction. So that when we apply gate voltage. That means when gate is positive with respect to emitter. What happens when gate is positive with respect to emitter, and this gate emitter voltage which is more than the threshold voltage level, that is VGET. When this voltage exceeds or reach the threshold level, then an N channel is formed. N channel is formed where? It is formed in the P region. Same as like MOSFET. See, when we apply gate positive and emitter minus, when we connect gate to positive terminal and emitter to negative terminal, then this is a insulating medium here, SiO2 layer, and it is a metallic part, it is also a metallic. So here is the formation of minus electric field, minus charges are formed, and again just below it formation of plus charges which forms positive electric field. And now through these plus charges, through the induction process, just below this area, just below this SiO2 layer in the P region, there is formation of electrons. This is called induced electrons. Okay, so this induced charges forms N channel between N plus and N minus. See, this is N plus, this is N minus, this is the reverse bias junction. So once there is formation of induced electrons, this will form channel in between N plus and N minus region. So N plus, N minus, and this electrons form N channel. Okay, so this N channel short circuits N minus region and N plus emitter region. N minus region is this one, N plus is connected to emitter. Okay, then current can flow through this path, this to emitter. Current can flow through this to emitter. This is the current. Okay, so an electron movement in N channel, this is the N channel, an electron movement in N channel causes substantial hole injection from P plus substrate layer into the epitaxial N minus layer. Okay, so though here is the movement of electron through this N channel, then what happens when the electrons are moved, or there is occurrence of the movement of electrons in this through this N channel, so that there is injection of holes from this P plus substrate layer to N minus layer. Okay, so electrons are moved in this direction because current direction is from collector to emitter. That means electrons are moved in the opposite of the current direction. That means electrons movement is from emitter to collector. So once electrons are moved from this from emitter to collector direction, that means from this direction to this direction holes are injected, because P plus, that means this is a highly doped P layer. Here the hole content is maximum. So now holes are injected from this P plus layer to N minus layer. So at last forward current is established from collector to emitter through this N channel. Okay, so there is another illustration taken in this structure. Another analysis is done here, that is the C. Here P plus substrate, N minus, and P layer, then N plus layer. Okay, the three layers P plus, N minus, and P constitute PNP transistor. Like this, I'm drawing here. This constitute this constitute one PNP transistor, PNP. Okay. Okay. And here this constitute PNP transistor. Okay. Here the P plus is, this act as emitter, this act as collector, this act as base. Okay, this P plus act as emitter, N minus act as base, and P act as collector. And here also another transistor is formed, that is N minus P N plus. Okay, so here N minus N minus P N plus forms or constitute another transistor, that is NPN transistor. Okay, here also this act as base, this act as emitter, this act as collector. This N minus region act as collector, this P region act as base, this N plus region act as emitter for this NPN transistor. Okay. So from this analysis, what we found see the IGBT is the combination of BJT and MOSFET. So the whole, this is the whole structure of IGBT. Okay, under this we analyze that inside this there is a virtual configuration, or there is a virtual that means we analyze that it is a combination of MOSFET and transistor BJT. So here we analyze one virtual circuit. Okay, this is a equivalent circuit. You can call it as a equivalent circuit. So here it forms one IGBT structure. Okay, IGBT circuit where C collector, G gate, E emitter, and this structure constitute the combination of MOSFET and BJT. This BJT or this transistor configuration comes from this analysis. Okay, so here see, I draw the circuit diagram, the equivalent circuit diagram for IGBT, where this is the MOSFET structure and these two are the transistors which came from this analysis. See, from collector side, first it is a PNP transistor. See, it is a PNP transistor, and then after that there is a NPN transistor. This is a NPN transistor. So from collector, here the P serves as this P. Okay, this P is this P. Okay, because this P serves as collector for PNP and base for NPN. So this P is this P region. Okay, this P region serves as collector for this PNP transistor and serves as base for this NPN transistor. Okay, this is the circuit diagram where two transistors, that is PNP, NPN, and one MOSFET structure is connected internally. Okay, and what you see, another thing is that this N minus region, this N minus, see, this N minus serves as base for PNP and collector for NPN. So here this N minus serves as base for PNP and collector for NPN transistor. Okay, so this is the equivalent circuit of an IGBT. This is the symbol for IGBT. These are the terminals: collector, gate, emitter, collector, gate, emitter. Okay, and overall you understood the structure, the operation, the equivalent circuit of IGBT. Okay, so next we will continue with IGBT characteristics. Under IGBT characteristics, we will study the static characteristics and switching characteristics. Okay. So the next topic is IGBT characteristics. So under IGBT characteristics, what we see the various parameters, the characteristics of various parameters like IC versus BGE, IC versus BCE. Okay. So under IGBT characteristics, we studied about the output characteristics, static BI characteristics, that is the output characteristics, and then the transfer characteristics, that is the input characteristics. Okay, so the output characteristics is showing what the output characteristic shows the plot of output current, that is IC. See, this is the circuit diagram. Okay, from this circuit diagram, this is the output side, this is the input side. Output side where we give supply of BCC in between collector and emitter, and in the input side we give the supply in between gate and emitter. So output characteristics is the output current graph between output current and output voltage. So output characteristics is the plot of collector current. Here the collector current is the output current, that is IC, versus collector emitter voltage BCE for various values of gate emitter voltage. See, this is IC versus BCE at gate voltage VGE1, IC versus BCE at the gate emitter voltage value VGE2, like VGE3, VGE4, VGE5, etc. So output characteristics is basically the plot of IC versus BCE at constant VGE. Okay, see, this is the output characteristics graph, this is the forward characteristics, this is the reverse characteristics, where this device can withstand the reverse voltage up to a certain limit, which is known as peak reverse repetitive voltage, and beyond this voltage the current rises drastically, and at this point the device will break down in reverse direction and it may destroy the device. So we should avoid the device to operate beyond this VRM level. Okay, so this is the input character, this is the output characteristics, which is almost same as the BJT output characteristics, then MOSFET output characteristics, only the parameters are different. Okay, so this is the transfer characteristics of IGBT, also called as input characteristics of IGBT. Here this is the plot of collector current versus gate emitter voltage. Okay, collector current versus gate BGE, gate emitter voltage. This characteristics is identical to the power MOSFET transfer characteristics, and this graph or this characteristics identical to the BJT output characteristics. Okay, so here when we give the gate emitter, when we supply the gate voltage, then VG level increases, and initially the IC level is 0, but when VGE reaches the threshold level or beyond, greater than when the VGE greater than or equal to VGT, this is the threshold voltage, and beyond that IC will rises linearly. Okay, so this is the transfer characteristics, and see, below this threshold level, when the device when this VG value is below or less than this threshold level, then the device is in off state. But when this VG value is beyond this VGT level, then the device is in on state. Okay, so when the device is in off state, particularly junction J2 blocks the forward voltage. the junctions J1, J2 already I shown you in the previous class, okay, in the previous structure, in the IGBT structure. So from the IGBT structure, what you found that when the device is in off state, junction J2 blocks the forward voltage, and in case of reverse voltage appears across the collector emitter, junction J1 blocks the voltage. Okay, so clearly understood the IGBT characteristics. This is the IGBT static characteristics, which include transfer characteristics and output characteristics. So next come to switching characteristics. Switching characteristics means we need to study the variations in the different parameters during turn on and turn off of a device. So here the different parameters are gate emitter voltage VGE, IC collector current, VCE collector emitter voltage. Okay, so these are the parameters. So switching characteristics of an IGBT during turn on and turn off are sketched here. This is the switching characteristics. So the turn on time T on is defined as the time between the instant forward blocking to forward on state. Okay, so turn on time is the time between the instants of forward blocking state to forward on state. So from switching from forward blocking state to forward on state, the time required for the device is the turn on time. See here, the turn on time is composed of turn on delay time TD and TR is the rise time. So T on is equal to TDN plus TR. This is the turn on time. TDN is the turn on delay time. TR is the rise time. Okay. So what do you mean by this delay time? The delay time is defined as the time for the collector emitter voltage to fall from VCE label to 0.9 VCE label. So during this TDN, turn on delay time, what are the changes occur in VCE voltage? So during this time, VCE voltage falls from VCE label, that means it falls from 100% value to the 90% value, that is 0.9 VCE. Here VC is the initial collector emitter voltage. So TDN may also defined as the time for the collector current to rise from its initial leakage current ICE to 0.1 ICE. See, during this time, what are the changes happen in collector current? See here, the collector current rises from this leakage value ICE level to 0.1 level, that means 10%. So during this TDN, IC changes from ICE to 0.1 IC and BCE changes from BCE level to 0.9 BCE level. Okay, so here IC is the final value of collector current, IC is the collector that means initial leakage current. Okay, so then come to rise time. Rise time is the time during which collector emitter voltage falls from 0.9 BCE to 0.1 BCE. It is also defined as the time for collector current to rise from 0.1 IC to its final value IC. Okay, see, during this rise time, BCE falls from 0.9 to 0.1 value and IC rises from 0.1 to the maximum or final value of IC. Okay, so the T on, overall T on is the combination of TDN and TR, TDN plus TR. Okay, so after the time T on, collector current is IC, this is, and the collector emitter voltage is this. Okay, this voltage falls to a small value which is also called as the conduction drop, and during the conduction this drop value is VCES. that is denoted as saturated VCE value. Okay, so after turn on, this VCE falls to the label conduction drop, that is VCES. This represents the saturated VCE value. So this is all about the switching characteristics during turn on. So the next part is the switching characteristics during turn off. So from this graph we studied about the turn off switching characteristics during turn off. So what happens during turn off? See, the turn off turn off time mainly consists of three intervals, that is TDF plus TF1 plus TF2. TDF is the delay time, turn off delay time. TF1 initial fall time. This is final fall time. Okay. TF1 initial fall time. TF2 final fall time. So the delay time is the time, turn off delay time. Okay. The delay time is the time during which gate, see, when the device started to turn on, we apply the control signal, that is VGT. So during the turn on process, the VG, the control signal, reaches up to the threshold level and then rises up to the maximum overdriven level. So during turn off, we need to decrease this control signal, we need to minimize this control signal, or we need to remove this control signal. After only that the device may turn off. Okay, so during the delay time, what happened? It is the time during which gate voltage falls from VGE to threshold level VGT. See, this is the TDF, turn off delay time. During this time, gate voltage decreases from this maximum or overdriven level to the threshold level. Okay, threshold value is the VGT. See, this threshold level is the mark. Beyond this level, the device is on, and below this level, the device is off. So as VGE falls to the VGT during TDF, the collector current, see what are the changes during this? The collector current, this is the collector current. Collector current falls from IC level. This is the final value of IC level to the 0.9 IC level during this TDF time. Okay. So at the end of TDF, this point is the end of TDF. So at the end of TDF, collector emitter voltage begins to rise. See, TDF ends here in this line. So after this TDF time, the collector emitter voltage begins to rise. See, it started rising. Okay, begins to rise. So the first fall time, that means the initial fall time TF1 is defined as the time during which collector current falls from 90% to 20% of its initial value IC, or initial fall time is the time during which collector emitter voltage rises from its saturated level to 0.1 VCE level. Clear? So during TF1, IC decreases from 90% to 20% level of this IC value, and VCE rises from its saturated value to 0.1 VCE level. Okay. So the final fall time is the TF2. The final fall time TF2 is the time during which collector current falls from 20% value to 10% value of IC, and it is the time during which collector emitter voltage rises from 0.1 VCE level to its final VCE level. Okay, so what are the changes happened in the parameters during the turn on delay time? rise time, turn off delay time, fall time, that means initial fall time, final fall time, you can see through this graph. So the overall turn off time is the combination of TDF, turn off delay time, TF1, initial fall time, TF2, final fall time. Okay, this is the overall switching characteristics for IGBT. So next is the application of IGBT. What are the applications? Application means where IGBT is mainly used. Okay, so IGBT are widely used in medium power applications. Okay, see, already I told you in the differences between MOSFET and IGBT. What do you see? The IGBT, MOSFET and BJT, difference between MOSFET and BJT. What do you see? In BJT devices are used for low power applications, whereas MOSFET devices are used for high power application. But here this IGBT, it is the combination of advantageous point of MOSFET and BJT. So it is widely used for medium power applications. Okay, medium power, medium power applications. Okay, so what are the medium power applications? That is DC, AC motor drives, okay, UPS systems, power supplies, power supplies, um, power supplies and drives for relays, contactors, solenoids, etc. Okay, so see, IGBT is the combination of advantages of BJT and MOSFET, but somehow it is more expensive than BJT. Okay, it is more expensive than BJT, but still it become popular because of its low gate drive requirement. Okay, because of its low gate drive requirement and lower switching losses, okay, and smaller snubber circuit requirement. Okay, so IGBT converters are more efficient with less size as well as less cost compared to the BJT converters. Okay, so IGBT inverter, induction motor drive is used 15 to 20 kilohertz switching frequency. Okay, and this is favorable for mainly the means this IGBT, its application its uses is for induction motor drive inverter. Okay, it is used in the inverter which is used for induction motor drive, and its switching frequency, this drive switching frequency is 15 to 20 kilohertz. So see, these are all the applications, means medium power applications like AC, DC motor drives, UPS system, power supplies, and drives for relays, contactors, solenoids, induction motor drives. It is used in the inverter circuit which is for induction motor drives. Okay, so its rating, what are its rating? Its voltage rating is 1200 volt, and current rating is up to 500 ampere. Okay, so this is the overall thing about overall details about the IGBT. So what you studied in under this part, under IGBT you studied its structural configuration, its equivalent circuit configuration, its operation, its static characteristics, its switching characteristics, and its application. Okay, thank you.